zinc white, it takes the purple. I'm gonna water it way down if I can. It's still kind of chalky. It looks a little bit less chalky and opaque and looks more transparent. So zinc whites are great to blend with dark colors when you want to tone them down just a little bit without letting them go chalky. They don't do a thing with the light colors. They're just like useless. Okay, so you walk away from it, you come back in 10 minutes and you decide you like what's there or not there. Clouds. Okay, so that's how to do a sunset situation in 2 layers. She said, what if your sky was already a color and you wanted to come in and add the white clouds? Yes. Paint your whole canvas blue. That mural that I did for the Remax Realty was a situation where literally we did have a blue wall. It was the whole room was blue, and I just came in with the whites, and it was easy and fast and fun. Acrylic medium with water and thinned down the paints a whole bunch, and then just kept kind of rubbing it. And oh, I had my squirt bottle with me, so I was dampening out the surface of the wall ahead of time, so that when I smeared the white in, it was actually bleeding and blending on the walls real soft. Just had to make sure it didn't dribble too much. Okay, so, oh my gosh, we have a blue sky situation. And she wanted to know if she could come in with the white and do the same thing that we did in reverse kind of here. So,
Looks like a watercolor canvas.
and I love when watercolorists used to wet out a canvas, or just wet out and just they'd go boom, and it was like done because it's already soft and doing the work. So the first time I actually tried acrylics, I kind of did something on a dry canvas and sat there and waited. And it's like, oh, it's not gonna blend on it. Oh, I have to do all the work. I hate acrylics. Didn't do anything with them for a while. Came back later on and it's like, oh, okay, let's wet out that canvas and ooh, look just like watercolor. So you can kind of work it any way you want to. Generally speaking, I like to squint my eyes at the piece, see what the overall majority color of the piece is. If it's a variety of, blue down to turquoise, down to yellow with a little bit of clouds, I'll do that first. If it's mostly clouds, I'll do paint the whole color of the cloud picture, blah, 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 and then come back and paint the tiny bit of sky that we actually got to see through our painting. So why paint the whole canvas blue? Because at the sky, when it was 99% cloud, you just needed the few spots where the sky got to pop through. Yeah. Be careful, because if you make a half-inch mark here, it better be a quarter-inch mark there and eighth. So make sure you don't go blue, 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 blue. 2-inch, 1-inch, half-inch, quarter-inch, 1/16. If your canvas is wet, you'll have a chance of getting your pieces off and correcting them before they leave that lovely little hard edge all the way around the outside edge of a dried piece. So this is painting style is pretty much true for anything you tackle. If you need to get a subject matter, whether this is a bouquet of flowers, get it damp and wet, drop the main color in first, the main subject matter color in first, get all of your soft edges established first, then come back in on the second layer and noodle in the darker, harder edges, and then find the little tiny little pieces of information. Don't try to tackle a whole painting without breaking it down into soft edges first. There we go.
It seems like when you're establishing those soft edges first before you put in some sky at the back, when you bring in with that sky, you think that coming up to the soft edge, how do you just bring it up to the soft edge and then kind of smear it?
Smear it with my finger. If it's still wet, I'll leave the color here. It'll work its way into something without me touching it.
Okay.
So having a wet surface helps a lot. Now that's not drippy, shiny wet, that's just satiny wet. Once your piece has started to dry, where's our splatter? Once your piece has started to dry, do not spritz back into it, because it will reactivate the semi-dry pieces and you'll have problems. So just walk away from it completely, let it dry, hit it in the sunshine, hair dryer, whatever you want, then come back and re-wet over the surface. This is dry enough now, I could come back over and fix that, but that's pretty darn cool. If you're doing sky paintings, be careful not to have the exact same shape. You know, make sure you're big, 1, 2, 3, big, one, little things.
Jennifer, what color was that light blue that you just put on?
Phthalo with white.
That was just phthalo and white, that
And it
light.
was literally this value. So even though you think that's the sky itself, you should, oh, no, it was just like, 20% color
Wow.
maybe. Here's what, that's too much.
Wow.
But now look, now all of a sudden your clouds pop more. So depending on what statement you're making, if you wanted a soft, suggestive, if the subject matter is down here and you don't want the clouds to be the subject matter, maybe having a light value against a light value is perfect. It's just a suggestion of what's back there supporting whatever your subject story is here. But if the story is about clouds, then you probably are going to have some value changes that are more intense to say, wow, my white cloud was the subject matter. Now, darker at the top, working their way lighter at the bottom. Be careful of sticking in too dark of a color down here, because all of a sudden it's not believable. It's too dark in value. So your sky is changing in colors as it goes down. Remember that when you get down to that bottom. And that's hard with those of us who just have, I have blue paint on my brush. I gotta stick blue paint somewhere. Gotta stick blue paint somewhere. Alright, so that's kind of dealing with clouds or painting soft, wet into wet subject matters and how to start a painting. If you have something you want to do today instead of specifically clouds, I am totally okay with working with you and helping you find too dark. Something that excites you to paint. After lunch, maybe I could do a demo on some flowers, and those of you that want to jump into a flower, or at least a close-up subject matter. I did bring some landscape pieces to fill in with, gee, we got the soft, wet